Hello, and thank you for your interest in Saturday Academy's Apprenticeships in Science and Engineering program. There is a wealth of information about the program and how to apply on our website, but in this info session, I'll provide a general overview of what the program is and how to apply. The Apprenticeships in Science and Engineering, or ASE for short, has a mission to provide students a meaningful career experience before college. We believe that the professional setting offers so much more to a student than regular classroom work can alone, and that applies to personal growth as well as STEM skills. Most of our students come out of our program with a better idea of what it means to be a professional and go on to college with a better understanding of what they want to major in, oftentimes in the field that their internship is in. So what are those fields? Well, in 2022, we had positions in biology, business and entrepreneurship, chemistry, computer science and tech, earth science, engineering, environmental science, healthcare, material science, medical science, and physics. And we could have even more disciplines in 2023 as we get more positions added. So you've got to think about where your passions lie and what careers you're interested in pursuing. And if you have a broad set of interests, it could be worth applying to positions in different fields. Now, as you're considering which positions to apply to, you'll want to think about how many positions there are within those fields and which ones will be more competitive. So each student can apply to up to 3 positions, and really popular positions will get more applicants than the less popular positions. And, if there's only 3 medical science positions, they're going to be more popular just because there's a lot of people who want to go into medicine. Whereas if there's 20 engineering positions, any one of those is probably going to get less applicants. So that's something to think about in your decision making. And the positions will be available to look at starting January 9th, 2023. Okay, so what are these internships? They give you an in-depth career exploration. So for example, this is Molly, a 2022 intern working on turning plastic into fuel. And she said, this is 100% sure what I want to go into, and polymers is the field of study I desire. I got home and it was the grossest day ever, and I could do this every day. I'm working towards something important. So ACE can reinforce what you want to do, and it gives you invaluable experience learning about an area of study and bulking up your skills in a particular field. But what if you aren't sure what field you want to work in yet? ACE is also great for you because if you're not sure, this is a good way to test it out. It's better to spend one summer on a certain career path than to go study it for 4 years and decide at your first job that you don't actually like the day-to-day work. And it's totally okay to change your mind. I've changed my mind many times about my career path. And this is something that you'll learn from a lot of our mentors. They've done it as well. In fact, one of our interns this year, Julia, said, the internship has shifted my perspective on what my life journey should look like. I feel a lot less stressed about finding the perfect career fit for me, and instead trust that each decision I make will take me closer to where I want to be, regardless of if each choice is perfect. And that's amazing. I want everyone to learn that lesson in their life. So what do interns actually do on a day-to-day basis? Well, they usually take place in person at the professional environments with mentors in the top of their fields. Some of them do remote work as well, or could be completely remote. Most of the interns work with more than one person. They'll meet other people who are working together on a project. They may be working with a graduate student. Some will work on one specific project. Others will get to sample different projects and kind of contribute in their way to each one. The day-to-day work really varies. They may go in the field, they may be working in the lab, they might be doing computer programming. they may actually be presented with a problem to solve and provided with tools to help solve that problem, or they could be writing proposals to help improve their company or organization. And finally, everyone presents what they did at the annual ACE symposium in August, which will be virtual in 2023. If any of this intimidates you, please don't be nervous. We don't expect you to know how to do all of this stuff before the internship. That's the whole point. It's a learning experience. And in 2022, this year, Sarabi said of her internship at PSU that the internship has made me realize how much there still is to learn in the world. I realize that you don't have to, and you won't know everything going into a job. Every job involves learning and growing. It's not how much you know that determines your success, but your attitude and mindset that does. And that is so true. I really love that. And again, a really good life lesson to learn through an internship. All right, so the program is very broadly open. There are eligibility requirements that I'll go through in a minute, but I just want to point out that you don't necessarily have to feel like you're already a STEM person to apply. It can take a while to really feel like you belong in STEM, and an internship is a good way to start building that relationship with the field that you're interested in and with the people in that field. So for example, this is Salem at OHSU, and during her internship, there were some days where they were in the lab waiting for reactions to happen and they would just chat. And so she said that this experience of getting to know the other people in the lab, it made me feel a strong sense of camaraderie. This memory makes me hopeful that I'll be able to bond with fellow researchers in the future and become good friends. So this is a chance to really kind of foster that sense of belonging in research or in engineering or in whatever field it is that you are interested in pursuing, regardless of whether you have any experience in it. The actual rules for who's eligible are listed here. So you have to be currently, as you're applying, in 9th, 10th, or 11th grade. Unfortunately, if you're graduating in 2023, you will not be eligible since you'll have already graduated before the internship starts. You should have an interest in STEM fields, but again, you don't necessarily need to have prior experience. And we primarily are in, well, all the positions are in Oregon and Southwest Washington. And so you need to live within 50 miles of a position because we will be having at least one in-person event. And while we can help with, if the event is in Corvallis and you live in Portland, we'll have a bus going down. We haven't decided where the event is going to be yet, but you will need to be able to get to the meeting point, and you'll also need to get to your internship if it's in person, which a lot of them will be. So you should check the individual position descriptions for the location of the internship and the prereqs to see if there's other factors that you need to know for eligibility. Some of them have age restrictions, some have classes that they would like you to have taken. So please do read those prereqs. All right. So this is a pretty big time commitment. Just gonna say it. In addition to these required events, so orientation, midsummer conference, symposium, you will be expected to work 296 hours with your mentor. And so those hours will take place over the summer between when you get out of school in June and end of August. The last day that you can do internship hours is August 25th. And so you'll set your schedule with your mentor, but typically that means working Monday through Friday, standard working hours between 8 and 5, whatever your mentor would like you to do. In order to figure out if you truly have time for this commitment, we have a spreadsheet on our website that you can make a copy of and use it to calculate if you have enough time for these hours. So ACE really does need to be your primary activity, but there is a little bit of wiggle room for other commitments. And so you just if you're not sure, please use the calendar calculator to figure out which weeks and days you can work, and if you have enough time for 296 hours. And again, you also need to think about transportation time. So getting to your internship hours, if it's in person, we cannot provide transportation besides for that one midsummer conference event. But you'll need to be able to get to the meeting point for that and also to your internship hours again. Okay. So we provide a lot of support throughout this whole process. You're not on your own. During the application window, we have some workshops and guides that are online. We've got virtual cover letter workshops coming up, so check the website for those. We also have a webpage about tips for doing interviews, since some of the mentors do hold interviews. We, as ACE staff, work full-time to support you, so you can always reach out to us if you have questions or issues. We also hire teachers during the summer to help you get, work through any issues. They can facilitate the relationship between you and your mentor if needed, and they'll be conducting interviews with you to see how things are going, and just really so that we can properly advocate for you as a student. So once at orientation, which is one of these events that we host for you, you'll meet your teacher monitor and other interns and, get some other tips for a successful internship. And then we'll also have our midsummer conference, which will have fun workshops, a chance to meet other interns, and also some info about prepping for Symposium, which is our last event that, again, is August 10th, and everyone will present the work that they did there. Lastly, just want to highlight that we are giving out a $1,100 stipend to every intern this year to cover expenses. And so that gets paid out in 2 payments beginning and end of the summer. A quick note about COVID, it's still out there. We still need to be taking precautions. And so we are deferring to the mentor organizations to set their safety protocols, communicate that to interns, and interns will all review mentor policies as well as Saturday Academy policies and sign a waiver and agreement that they understand what is expected of them for safety. All right, so just want to highlight some other really cool benefits of being an ACE intern or even just applying to ACE. One, some schools offer credit for this career experience, so you should ask your counselors about that. 2, it looks great for college apps, including the fact that ACE mentors usually end up being really good letter writers for those college recommendations. Besides getting those recs, you also just develop a good relationship with mentors and other people in the field. And so that opens doors for future opportunities. Networking is the #1 way to get jobs in any field. And so knowing more people and talking to them about their career path really can benefit you and your decisions in the future. We've even had some ACE applicants connect with a mentor during the interview process. And even though they weren't selected for the internship, they kept in touch with that mentor and were able to do volunteer work with them in the future. So just applying is a way to build your network. And we also invite ACE applicants to participate in other events, workshops, classes, etc. So it's good to be on our list of applicants. Again, even if you don't get a position, there are some other opportunities for you. Okay, so how do you apply? Well, first off, you should know that the deadline is Friday, March 4th, 2023, and there are no exceptions to that deadline. The components of the application are your basic contact info. So that'll be the first thing you enter because the application is on our website. It has you create your profile. If you've already applied to ACE before, you can use the same account. If your family has registered for Saturday Academy classes, you'll probably need to use a different email address to create that account. And it should be your own as the student. We want you to take responsibility for doing this application. You'll also need a transcript from your school. You'll need 2 adult recommendations, people who are not related to you. You'll need to write a cover letter, or cover letters that are, you might be writing multiple cover letters, which I'll explain in a minute. And your preferred positions. So you'll look at the position options and choose up to 3 to apply to, and you'll rank them as first, second, and third. So we want you to put in the time to review the different positions so that you can make the best choice for you. Okay, so this is an example of what an official transcript should include: your school info, your info, and your academic history, which means the classes you've taken and the grades you got. If you are currently in a term that's ending soon, it's a good idea to wait until the term ends and get a fresh, most recent transcript, as long as it's before the application deadline, because that will show what you've done up until the point of the application. It's not quite as useful to have like last year's transcript. We want to know what you're currently doing as well. And usually schools, even if the term hasn't ended yet, you can get a transcript that lists the courses you're currently taking in addition to what you've taken in the past. Okay, so to start the application, you'll go to our website, find the Career Preparation tab, and under that, you'll see these drop-down options, and one of them is Be an Intern. So click Be an Intern. And that will bring you to this landing page, which can direct you to different parts of our website, but you want to look for the Browse Internships option and click that. And this will show you all of the positions that have been posted so far. So again, this is not available until January 9th, 2023, but it'll look something like this, and you'll be able to see where a position is, what org it's in, what town it's in, a brief description, and some prereqs. So take a look at the minimum age, minimum grade, any other prereqs, and if you fit the description, then you would click Learn and Apply. And this will bring you to a detailed description of what that internship position is. And if you're still interested at that point, you would add internship to your locker. This is our website's way of storing the positions you're interested in. So once you have positions in your locker, there'll be an option to view your locker, and it will look like this with the different positions you've picked. And you'll have the option here to click Apply for these internships. So once you click that, it'll bring you to a page where you'll either log in to your account from before, or you will create your account with, putting in your email address and your personal info. So like I said, we're currently collecting positions from mentors, and they will go live January 9th, but we're going to keep adding positions throughout the application period because some mentors, will be deciding a little bit later, we'll get funding, add the position. And so to get updates, please join our mailing list. You can copy this link. It's also linked from the Be an Intern webpage. A few tips on a successful application. Again, deadline, deadline, deadline. There are no exceptions to this March 3rd deadline. And a part of that deadline is making sure that your recommenders submitted their part. Adults forget things, adults make mistakes. You need to follow up and make sure they've submitted it on time. Thirdly, there is this option to write cover letters that are tailored towards different positions. And so please take a close look at our cover letter writing guide. Everyone needs to write one general cover letter that is broad and doesn't talk about any positions that you're applying for. It's just about you and your experience and skills and interests. But you can also write these cover letters targeted to your 3 positions. And so please read up about that on the website, because mentors love when they get a position specific cover letter. To help you learn more about that process, again, we have these free cover letter writing workshops. Those will be posted on our events page pretty soon, or they might be posted already, depending on when you're watching this video. If the application window has opened, if this is January, you can find those events posted and workshops and register now. We are also here to help you with your application, but you should ask other people for help as well, other adults in your life, to give you feedback on your materials. And finally, use us as a resource. You can email us at I'll show it in a minute, our email address, but the application guide probably answers a lot of your questions. So please go there first. It will, again, you can find it on our website. So from the Be an Intern page, you can click application guide, and then it'll open up. Looks like this. It has a ton of info about the application. But if you still have questions, here's our email address, ase@saturdayacademy.org, and we are more than happy to help you out. So thanks for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing your application come in March 3rd, 2023. Bye.